All right, I'm going to do another video, and this is going to be about slide sets. It's something I hadn't really figured out until recently, but it is a very useful tool if you want to basically put together a set of slides without having to build them in PowerPoint, basically. So it's not quite as powerful as PowerPoint, but for something quick and easy, it's a very useful feature. So first of all, the way it's organized, you can save them into the database, but you can't save them into a separate folder, at least from what I've found. So I can't, for example, go into, hold on a second. So, for example, I don't see a way to save them into like this next Sunday's folder. Instead, they get saved in with the database. So like there's a song database of all the songs. So they get saved into here, basically into a separate folder. And then this is just basically a text file, XML file of how to do that. So if, for example, I want to make a new slide set, but I want to start with what I've already created before, so work with the template, you actually copy the folder. So this is what I'm going to do as an example for, I'll say, 1119. So it's not really the ideal way that I'd like to have it done, but it does work. And you can always start from scratch. This is just a way to basically use a previous set to do it. So this set has basically these 3 videos. So like this would be during communion, someone's sharing. And then this is down here is during the offering. And so this is just up during the offering. And then a general slide during announcements. So I'm using the template here, so I don't want to change that. Instead, what I'll do is I'll go and modify this coming Sundays, pretending like I'm adding stuff in here. So, for example, last Sunday, there was an announcement that was asked to be put in. Basically, we were asked to create a slide. So what I can do here is I can just create a whole nother slide. I'll do add image. You can do it different ways. So for example, I'll hit plus here. This just creates this blank one down here. And like before, you can go in here and add all these different videos and stuff. But to keep it consistent, I'm going to keep this one with the trees in the background. This doesn't have any text. So if I right click, then I can copy in some text. So I'll show you what I did this last time. So I'm copying some text from an email. And basically that's a way to go in and create a quick announcement slide if they don't give you like a picture or something. Of course, you'd want to format it so it's nice, but the way that you format things is pretty consistent throughout. So I can go and I can change the text size. Of course, I probably want to make it as big as I can without making it too big. If I try to go too big, it doesn't really let me do that because I have auto text fit and wrapping. So if I change some of that, then obviously it becomes no good. You can also change the positioning of it. This is consistent throughout. So for the most part, centered is probably what you want. Another important part is you see these times down here. You want to make sure that these are set to a large number. I just do 1,000. What this is after this is displayed, after 1,000 seconds, it'll go to the next slide. So I've also set them to 0, which I think is a way for telling it not to advance, which seems to work. I kind of feel a little better just setting this to a large number, just because I've seen kind of weird things happen when you set it to 0. But this is a way to just basically modify a slide set. And this is automatically getting saved into the database. So now if I wanted to make a set of announcements that basically play before a service, I'll do that. I'll create a new slide set. Let me get out of here. So yeah, I'll click here. Now I've created a new slide set. So let me just pick that. I'll put some random stuff in there. Okay, sorry, I have to select it, and I'll put that in there. I'll add another slide in. Oh, I have to select it first. That would help. And I'll say candle is nice. So you can, of course, go in. You can change the color. So depending on the background image or video, if it's going to get in the way or not. And I'll change this to 2 seconds, which you wouldn't really want to do normally. If I set this to repeat and hit go, you'll see down here it's switching back and forth every 2 seconds. It's going through the cycle. So if you had a bunch of announcements that weren't going to be, spoken about to where it has to be timed when you switch them, then you can do this. So at this point, we're not doing announcements that way, but that is an option that we can do. It's pretty straightforward with this program. So now if I go and I change this to, yeah, let's just kill that. All right, well, I have 2 seconds to do it, so that's kind of an odd thing. But now I'll set it to 0. Just because I'm playing around, I can do that. So now whichever one you select goes to the preview up here, and then, of course, like everything else, it goes down below. So you can do pictures and you can do videos, or you can even do a background video feed, which we don't do. So that is using a slide set. Other features, you can select it and move it up or down. You can cut things out, add things. That's basically all there is to it. So some things you can't do with it is you can't put like a timer in one of these or have different like sets of text. So definitely less than you can do in PowerPoint, but for most things, it works out really well. Also, the typical things like just going to, well, I can't really see it because of the recording, but basically if you go out, you can turn basically the text on and off by going to just background or show content. So yes, that is slide sets, something that I just recently figured out, and I think it can be very useful for us and give us a little bit more control over announcements and whatnot. So the way I have it set up and the template here for fall, so this is a fall template, and I didn't fix this time, so let me fix that now. Because it'd be really unfortunate if you're doing this and it switches by itself. I think that had happened to me when I was still getting used to this. So now the template should be saved. So basically we have this slide. This is the communion sharing slide. This is the offering, and then this is announcements. And then we'll basically add on to those per Sunday, depending on what's needed. So thanks. Hopefully you found that useful. Goodbye.